Welcome to this Cycling Life Leadership Bytes. I am Moerman, and today I am talking with Santiago Rosell that was in my program about 10 years ago. He lives in San Francisco now, is an airline pilot, but it's maybe better, Santiago, that you introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Hey, my name is Santiago Rosell. I was in Bernard's program, I believe 2005 to 2008 timeframe, racing in Belgium and France. And today I am a captain for a US-based airline called Air Transport International, flying the Boeing 767 all over the world.
Wow. So you must have a lot of work for the moment, huh? With the coronavirus?
Fortunately, the coronavirus has been very good to me since I fly freight. So I am the one you need the most at the moment, flying freight all over the world and supplying everybody's families.
Am I right that you fly planes for Amazon deliveries?
We do. So we have three major customers, DHL being one of them, the US government being another, and our primary customer is Amazon.
Okay. So yeah, those business figures went up, so so they need to be brought somewhere.
Absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about your story before you came to our program, because I think it's at least to say, a very unusual story. You don't need to go into details, but I mean, some things were particular, not usual, so to speak.
Yeah, so I think I was the exact opposite of a cyclist or anybody who does any type of sports. I was a very overweight kid. When I was in high school, I peaked 300 pounds. And due to some issues I had at home with not performing in school, my dad took away my car, and the only way I could get around was on a bicycle. But I learned that I really like riding the bicycle, and the weight came off, and I kept riding, and someone suggested one day to me that you should race it, which was the worst idea ever. And then I kept getting even more bad ideas from racing to now I'm going to go to Europe and race the bike. And lo and behold, I ended up in a chair across from you. But it all worked out in the long run, didn't it?
Well, you know, at least when we look at where you are today, you took something away from it. So
yeah.
I have some questions that I had prepared, so I need my glasses here. And if there is one thing, like what should be the thing that you learned the most out of your competitive cycling period with me and then later in America? And what lesson is it that you use now the most in your daily life?
Yeah, you know, it's funny. I was just talking to my wife about this, and she kind of helped me outline that, like, when I get an idea in my head, no matter what it is, I'm going to do it. So in cycling, it taught me that there's nothing that I couldn't achieve. If I can go from being a 300-pound overweight individual to competing against some of the best cyclists in the world, there's nothing that I can't achieve through just being disciplined and, you know, persevering and trying in training and just doing everything I need to do and making sure that I'm ensuring my success. As you always say, the preparation meets opportunity creates luck. So the biggest takeaway from my cycling career is the fact that there's nothing I can't achieve. Anything I put my mind to it, I can do it. Mm-hmm. And overcoming the hurdles I did in cycling just proved that to me in tenfold.
Yeah, I mean, for the audience, it might be interesting to know that when you came, everybody was even declaring me as like, you were a fool, you know, this guy is over, what are you going to do with this guy? But for me, the cycling center was obviously you wanted to win races and you want to grow young riders into professionals, but even more so, I am always looking for people that have a certain character, that really want to get somewhere. I don't care where they want to get, but at least that they get somewhere. And I think for me, that's also one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, that you are one of those guys that really got where you want to be. Mm-hmm. Just because you did put all the efforts in that you needed. So to me, this is the ultimate in life, because I assume you're pretty happy in the way you're living today.
Oh, I'm very, very happy. Yeah, it wasn't so much that I wanted to be a professional cyclist when I was there, although that was kind of the goal. It was more of I needed to kind of find myself. I needed to use your program, and I needed to use you. And I think it took me a little bit once I was there to kind of figure out where I wanted to go with this. And you helped me. I mean, I don't even know if you remember the last conversation we had the first year I was there, where I was like, I want to come back. And you were like, you want to come back? Are you sure? I was like, yes, I want to come back. And you're like, okay. And I was like, trust me, when I come back, trust me, I will be ready to go. And I think you like that in me. You like that I was not going to give up. And sure enough, when I came back, I was ready to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that was what I saw in you the first time we met, or at least that we spoke with each other. And you were so open to talk about your background and like you said, you were about 300 pounds. You will understand that was never on a scale anywhere near in the cycling center, a guy that had a history with that. So for me, that determination was a spark to let you come, because as you know, I'm a very big believer that everybody has a lot of talent. You just need to figure out what talent. That's the task you have. And therefore I thought that was a good venue for you. So it was cycling. What is particular in cycling that attracted you? Or were there other circumstances why it became cycling, to really kind of, even, can I say, to prove to yourself that you really had a lot in you? So what exactly was cycling? What particular was the attraction of cycling?
It was such a large hurdle for me to overcome. For me to come from someone who couldn't run a mile. I mean, I have a very vivid memory of me almost failing my gym class in high school because I couldn't run the mile in under 12 minutes or whatever it was. And I remember my, I guess you call him like teacher or coach, the high school gym coach there, telling me that, like, you're not going to pass this class. You're just fat and you're lazy. And so once the cycling community embraced me, and I realized that this is such a large hurdle for me to overcome, and I can overcome it. I'm starting to overcome it in a very quick amount of time. And okay, well, I've gotten here to the point where I can overcome it here. Well, the next large hurdle is Europe. I mean, cycling in Europe is like basketball in the United States. It's something, if you can make it there, have any, whether it's you become Lance Armstrong or whether you become just able to complete a local race, is a big deal. And I think that large, almost impossible obstacle for me is what attracted me to it. I knew if I could overcome that, then there was nothing that would stop me throughout the rest of my life.
Wow.
So,
yeah, well, that was visible. And now I remember you coming back the next year way sharper. I do not recall correctly. Was the second year the year we also had the training camp with Astana in Albuquerque, or was that the third year?
Yeah, those years are blending in my head as well, but I believe the second year we did it with Navigators.
Okay.
And then the third year is it was so crazy. I come back the second year, we're with Navigators. Okay, cool. And then next year, me and you were sitting at dinner with Johan Vernier. Like, what's happening here?
Yeah, well, how life can go, huh?
Yeah. Do you remember? And now I'm on stage with the Astana team, and there's a thing, and
Yeah. It was a big thing. But yes, now I remember how much more sharp you were the second year already.
I was ready to go.
And I still admire the amount of suffering you obviously needed to put in, even to sustain the first year. Because, racing over here, I think I can say it's brutal. We have a lot of Belgians that don't like the stupid Americans,
Oh, no.
or the aggressive Australians, or the Russian robots, or whatever you want to call it. So just give me a little insight on how different the atmosphere is in an American race versus the races, you know, kermesse races even here in Belgium.
You know, American race is very much, it's, if I had to sum it up, it's like Belgians have passion. They love it. It's their way of life. Americans do it because it's a thing to do and thing to talk about on Facebook. I'm not saying that with every race, but I'm saying for the most part, you know, the local races you're going to go to, they just want to say that they went to, they want to get a little exercise, they want to get the trophy at the end of it. The perfect example I could say, or the perfect example I can give is an American race is going to cost you $20, $50 to enter. At the end of it, if you win the race, you may win a couple $100. You may have paid for your race entry, maybe your gas. In Europe or your local kermesse, you're going to pay €5 to enter. You're going to get €3 back. And if you finish the race, you have a good chance of walking away 20 or 50 euros, which will pay for your gas, pays for your race entry. They don't do it because it's a money-making endeavor. They do it because it's just passion. Mm-hmm. So when you're going into the race and you're racing against these individuals, they're doing it because their local town is supporting them, their family is supporting them, there's money riding on them when it comes to betting and so on. In Belgium, there are bigger names on those local streets and those local kermesses than there are on the world stage in the world tour. And it is war. Yeah. It is absolutely war. Heaven forbid you make the break and you weren't supposed to be in that break that day because that's not what the betting people want. You have to fight your way. And dare I say it, sometimes even buy your way into that breakaway.
Yeah. Well, that sums it up pretty reasonable. So the next question is a question that for you sitting in an airplane every day, then if I think about an airplane, I obviously need a suitcase because I'm traveling. As a cyclist, I always say you live some sort of as a gypsy and you live out of a suitcase. I mean, I remember the last years I was running the professional team. I lived out of a suitcase 150 days a year. So give me a little about that. You're doing it now again, I guess, when you travel so much. So what did you learn from it when you were a cyclist? And how is that traveling or living out of a suitcase? Yeah, is that, what is the impact on your life today with that?
Yeah, I am very thankful for my time as a cyclist living out of a suitcase because it's really developed me for my life today. And the biggest thing is, you know, in cycling, you start learning like, okay, I'm gonna go race in France and it's February. You know, what's the weather like? Okay, I need to bring, you know, an extra pair of shoes. I need to bring a toilet seat. I need to bring that's a joke. I don't think you ever knew I did that. But one time I brought a toilet seat to France. That's a joke. Anyway, but you need to bring certain things to make sure you have certain, you know, success because of whether it's the climate or they don't have your favorite coffee, you know, so you learn how to kind of develop yourself to go to the places you want to go, you know, whether it's bringing a jacket or like I said, your favorite coffee or something like that. So living out of a suitcase as a cyclist has really prepared me for as an airline pilot. Because I know that if I'm going to go to Thule, Greenland in December, it's probably going to be -20 out. So I need to bring, you know, a bigger jacket, you know, and I need to figure out, you know, how to carry that bigger jacket. Because I may be living in Florida where it's 80 degrees, flying up to Greenland where it's, you know, -20 degrees. And you would be shocked how many people that I fly with and we land there and they're like, I'm so cold. I'm like, you didn't bring a jacket? I know it's for a lot of people, it's like, oh, of course you would bring a jacket. But when you're living your life for 2 weeks, a month, or however long on the road like that, you learn how to basically bring your life with you and how to pack accordingly for whatever elements or whatever you may face. Sometimes you bring food. A lot of times you bring food.
Wow. It kind of blows me away that even professional pilots, or at least the crew, that some of those people are acting as young cyclists. I got here the first weeks where you might have remembered when sometimes I totally freaked out because some guys were just like, where are you going? You know, you need your stuff. So
right, you need extra shoes. You need an extra jersey. Where are you going? Like I remember guys would show up to the van and they'd be wearing, the uniform that we had, right? Whatever, the jacket and the sweatpants and flip-flops. And you would be like, what are you wearing? It's 30 degrees outside. Flip-flops?
We're in the race. Shit happens. We need to make decisions.
Yeah.
You can't call the car because we're too far back. So I think I can say that I learned you guys what we wanted to do then. And how was that training on the spot decision making? First of all, did that help you later? Are there situations where you could remember stuff that we learned from the years past? So on the spot decision in a race, how much is that helping you in your work today?
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember this race, but there was a race I remember very vividly, and that's GP Heel. Do you remember that race? It's like one of the fastest races on the calendar. So for the longest time, up until that race, I kind of raced like when you're looking down the road or you're looking how the race unfolds, you're kind of looking through like a straw, And then all of a sudden, as you get more experience, your field of vision kind of goes wider and wider and wider and wider. So now you're at the front, you're not on the front, right? And so as you're at the front, you're watching how these key players go. You're identifying who's going to make the moves, and you're sourcing all the information you have available to you to make these spot decisions. So in GP Heel, every time a break went away, I was in it, because I recognized every time a break went away, there was a key guy in it. And that key guy in it is not, his team is not going to let him, fail. They're going to make sure that break goes away. And a lot of those breaks rode for a long time. And then in that race, I think I crashed 3 times.
Oh yeah, I remember.
And even after 3 crashes, I was still the only one left in the team in the race. But every time I crashed, I had to make another split decision. Like, okay, how do I get back into the group? You would come up to me in the car, are you okay? And I was like, I'm fine. And I'm just getting raped because I'm making these split decisions of getting back in the group. And eventually it resulted in me getting back into the main group, into the local labs there. So now in my life, a lot of things happen in the aircraft, a lot more than I really want to explain here because I may scare some people. But when I first started flying, my field of vision was like this. And now as a captain, my field of vision is like this. So as I'm departing, I have this sense of, where I'm noticing that in my peripheral vision, whether it's my co-pilot, whether it's the airplane doing something, and cycling has prepared me for all of this. Because when you're at 170 beats per minute and you're breathing all the oxygen you can, you have 200 other people around you that want to rip your guts out. It's starting to rain on you. You're borderline hypothermic. You're dehydrated, and you have to use all your processing capabilities in your brain to make these decisions to ensure your success. Well, now here I am in the airplane, minutes are on the line, something has happened, or we're in a thunderstorm or something like that. This same type of mentality now plays into how I fly and conduct myself in the aircraft.
Wow.
And then also, utilizing your resources in terms of, crew resource management, utilize your teammates and you in the car if you can.
Yeah. Wonderful. You, at least I think I can say that you were one of the guys, as many, where having discipline to me is also a talent. But to me, you were pretty exceptional. Well, first of all, to lose that weight, to become even competitive in cycling, let's say it that way. The first year, I think you were in my program, and we came from doing something to become competitive. And and from the second year on, you are a valuable player. I mean, we could use you in the tactics, where the first year it was like, well, we'll see where he goes, So that discipline part, which I think I still admire in what you did the time you were at the cycling center and then later in your cycling. But can you give, where did that discipline help you as much or even more now in your professional career?
Yeah. Well, the biggest thing it's helped me it's helped me in my professional career. But the biggest thing is starts to help me personally, because even now you can still see, like, I never gained the weight back.
No,
You see a lot of cyclists, they balloon up because they eat the same and they're no longer exercising. So now I have this discipline, probably to a fault, as my better half will share, but I have this discipline because, you know, in my flying career, sometimes I show up, I've just been through 7 different time zones. Now I only have a very small amount of time to rest. The average human being needs 8 hours, and now I have 5 hours to rest. In that 5 hours, I also have to shower, I have to eat, and so on. So this discipline has now given me the tools to ensure my success. I'm going to bring food with me. I'm going to eat the exact food that I want to eat, and I'm going to sleep the correct amount to sleep. And I don't dilly-dally. Everything is timed in minutes. Everything is timed in seconds. And that's what the discipline has given me as an airline pilot.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, it looks clear to me. So, because we're towards the end, can I say that 3 takeaways from the talk we have now is obviously discipline, perseverance, and also, like the GP Hill, your drive to finishing. So discipline, perseverance, and finishing. Are those the 3 takeaways people should take away from that's Santiago, this lifestyle? Is that correct?
That's correct. Absolutely. Yeah. Discipline, ensuring your success, doing everything you can. Perseverance, no matter what happens, whether it's hailing on you or whether there's, heaven forbid, a fire in the cockpit, you don't give up, you keep pushing. And then finishing, no matter what you start, you finish it.
Are there other examples of that finishing part that you recall, whether it was in cycling or in your professional career, where you can say, like, okay, this I think proved that it's above average?
Yeah, the cycling, and I think a lot of people who who has never raced in Europe, finishing is kind of a big deal. Finishing a race is a big deal. Not everybody finishes in Europe or in Belgium, especially in a kermesse. You'll have 200 start and maybe 15, maybe 20 finish on average. It's quite shocking. So if you could make it into that finishing group, it's quite a big deal. Mm-hmm. So being able to persevere through whatever events may happen, whether it's, pushing, you're just completely exhausted. Everybody else is exhausted, by the way, and you're pushing through that pain and whatever elements may hit you during the race, and you finish it. It's a big deal. So now in my professional life, we have a lot of training. It's very difficult. They put you through a lot, and it's being able to push through and finish your training and succeed in it. And no matter what, even then, once you're on the line and once you're actually flying, no matter what happens, no matter what emergency happens, no matter what's going on at home or whatever, it's that you're going to finish this flight. You're not going to give up. You're not going to resign from whatever situation comes from you. You will finish it. Whether it's a good outcome, whether it's a great outcome or an okay outcome, you're still going to finish it. No matter what you start, you will finish.
Great. Well, we're pretty much at the end of this interview with Santiago Rosell from San Francisco. If you like this, please give us a thumbs up, and we will see you next time on this Cycling Life Leadership Bites. Have a good day. See you later, Santiago.
See you.